Andrew, are you going to see Avatar 3D Special Edition when they release it August 27th?
No.
In IMAX?
No? No.
Why not?
I don't want to.
We wanted to see Step Up 3D, and we decided to go to Long Beach, which is a little bit of a drive. Why see a movie in Long Beach? Because Long Beach has all the coolest shit. When we go to Long Beach, we don't just see a movie. First we eat dinner at Chick-fil-A.
We ate at Chick-fil-A. This is the first time I tried the sauce. You getting this? You getting this?
This is good shit. This is good shit.
I had the barbecue sauce and the fucking special sauce.
So Han, we like.
Not entertaining to anyone.
Spot.
All right. So after Chick-fil-A, we went to Barnes and Noble. Hondo, we went to Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, they got books there.
What did you tell? Why do we like to go to Barnes and Noble?
I've seen 2 of these videos, or 3 of them. Has it been 2 or 3?
There's been 3.
I've seen 3 of them, and I have to say, you edited them together pretty good. If this is what it always feels like, because this feels like a disaster.
This is absolutely, but it's always
this
like.
This feels like a disaster.
It's like
this is information that no one wants.
Like pulling teeth.
You do a good job editing though, because it doesn't feel like this. It doesn't feel this shitty when you're watching it.
Hey, dickhead! Why do we like to go to Barnes and Noble? Why do we like to go to Barnes and Noble?
I don't know, dickhead. What was the point of that? I started to answer you, and he interrupted me, and now you're insulting me like I'm not trying to give you something.
So what?
He interrupted. Apologize for calling me a dickhead.
After that, we went to Walmart.
No, you didn't get Barnes and Noble. Justin, we saw the movie. Now read the book.
Why aren't there couches anymore inside Barnes and Noble?
So you just get out.
But isn't that their bread and butter? People hanging around,
said that to me also.
getting books.
Their bread and butter is to get people frustrated
If
that there's
people-
no couch, so they just buy the book and leave.
But if
That's their bread and butter.
people aren't hanging out, then they're not finding books they
Their
like.
bread and butter, Starbucks.
They're going out of business.
Nook.
They're going out of business,
The
even
opposite-
with the fucking Nook.
Stocks.
If they have the couches there, then you can look through books and find something that you like.
Well, they still have the chairs by the magazine section, so you could just sit there.
That's a bunch of shit.
It's
I want a
uncomfortable
couch.
They want you to not be comfortable sitting and reading the book for free. That's the point.
I'm not going to read an entire book at the bookstore.
I've never grabbed a book at a bookstore and flipped through it and been like, all right, you know I don't buy it because I get it off Amazon.
What?
Boom.
I get books off Amazon.
Boom. Internet.
I heard Barnes and Noble's going out of business.
Where'd you hear that? Lies.com?
Brett told me.
Oh, Brett told you. You think they lowered DVD prices?
I understand.
Does anyone buy a DVD at Barnes & Noble?
Are we
No.
walking? What's happening?
We usually do Walmart after the movie, but we had a lot of time to kill.
No one cares.
Yeah, why would they care about this?
You know what? Just answer my questions.
Okay,
and
well, ask questions.
You're not asking a question. You're saying, and then we did this. That's not a question.
You act like you haven't been in 2 of these videos.
Right. Ask a question.
Why do we like to go to Walmart? Hey, retard. We just talk. That's how these work. We just talk.
Well, you can jump in.
Determined to root out this menace, Shale goes undercover at a local high school. Posing as a teacher, he and his team of mercenaries set a trap to catch the ringleaders in this explosive thriller. I remember I saw this in the theater with my friend Damon Galchi and his sister and his parents. And his sister was the only one in high school at the time. She went to Plantation High School. And we were in middle school. And she kept telling her parents, this is what it's really like. And I kept thinking, oh my god, I'm going to fucking die in high school. Because I believed her. But it's not what it's like. This
No,
is
that is what it's like.
I wonder if, do you think it takes place at the same school? Interesting, I don't know. The Substitute 3, winner takes all. The Substitute, they don't even say his name anymore, now he's just the Substitute. Treat Williams
Probably how they refer to him in the movie.
under when a clandestine gang of neo-Nazi students threatens an elite military school. So this is the neo. Look, and you can kind of see them zig heiling here, the neo-Nazis.
Oh my god.
I wonder if
that's probably the best one. There's some good deals here.
I did a claw machine at the video arcade. First of all, it's not even a claw game for a fucking stuffed animal. It's a claw game for a candy. So I put the card in the thing.
You didn't even want candy.
I didn't really even want candy. You have to pick up the candy, but you don't drop it in the hole. You have to drop it on something else that pushes other candy into the hole. So we were confused as to how to do it. I put it in, and I got an M&M, but it dropped. And then I was like, all right, I'll just try again now that I know how it works. But it cost $1. I could have bought M&Ms for 75 cents. and said I paid $1 not to eat M&Ms. I paid someone $1 not to eat M&Ms today.
You played a dual layer game of chance to get it with the claw and then to drop it on the thing that may or may not drop the candy. That was losing on several levels.
The Edwards Long Beach 26 is just your classic American Cineplex.
It's kind of a shitty theater. I mean, it's a 26. It's a big stadium theater, but you sit in the seat and then it'll creak. So you'll go, alright, I don't want to sit in the seat. And you'll move like 2 seats over and the exact same problem will happen.
That's funny because first there was a stain on the seat, so we didn't sit there, and then the next seat was creaking.
The 2 seats around it were creaking.
I guess it is a shitty theater.
I'm glad that I'm wearing glasses, because then when I put on the 3D glasses, it won't feel like I'm wearing them. See?
The Step Up series has sort of mutated into this creature that, like, really each movie in the series is in a different genre. Because, like, the first one was this really down-to-earth, simple romance about these 2 kids who were just into dance. But Step Up 3D is like this acid trip of music and images. It makes sense the way a fever dream makes sense, and you're just reacting viscerally to all this information. But if you were to try to describe it to someone afterwards, you would sound fucking insane.
After like the opening scene happens and the new cool guy takes him for a ride and they're playing the Jay-Z New York song, they're driving around New York City and going over the Brooklyn Bridge for 7 hours.
That scene was like out of Aladdin, like when he takes her for a magic carpet ride, like, oh man, you got some cool moves, come on, follow me, I'll show you some. And he like takes him on this ride through New York, it's like magical.
Yeah. In reality, which this movie does not take place in, when an older man who helps you escape the police leads you to an alley where you get into his car, he doesn't take you on a fun tour of New York and then to his magical dance club. He rapes you and murders you. But then he's in the bathroom and then the samurais show up out of nowhere and a guy whose jacket is a boombox forces him to dance.
In the bathroom.
In the bathroom. I don't know what would have happened if he just stood there and refused to dance.
Probably would have stabbed him. No one really throws a punch this entire movie, but there's some serious fighting going on, but they just battle through dance. The most that happens is at one point a guy shoves his sister because she's dancing for the wrong crew. There's a character who's a robot. Like, one of their friends is a robot, I think.
But anytime he moves, you hear robot noises.
Yeah,
and machinery.
Do the characters hear that robot noise, or is it just for the audience?
Yeah, well then you're like, oh, maybe it's part of the song. But then when they were like cleaning up,
everyone else is cleaning the apartment and he's just moving around making robot noises.
Everyone's trying really hard to clean and he's sweeping the floor, but because he's doing it while doing a robot dance, he's barely sweeping anything. So he's not helping them at all.
The story follows Moose from Step Up to the Streets, which is kind of like if there was a Star Wars movie that followed Jar Jar Binks. And I mean that in a good and bad way.
That little twerp is a good actor.
No, he's not. Nobody was a good actor in this movie. There's no Brianna Evigan for us to follow. Everyone in this movie is a fucking incredible dancer, but cannot act their way out of a paper bag.
That's the problem. They don't cast like stunt double dancers, so they have to cast people who are great dancers and can act, and usually you can't do both.
You know what? You know what? It works for the movie, because with better actors, the movie might even be worse. There's a crude charm to their inept acting. This movie is like a porno, except instead of sex and nudity, there's just gratuitous dance. And the occasional scene of just ludicrous, bewildering dialogue. Watching it, I was alternately confused and horny.
I don't think there's a cover charge to the dance club that's in the building.
He runs a really successful fucking dance club and makes no money.
Who bartends that club? Because all the people that would work the club are upstairs practicing their dancing moves. How do they all have cell phones? They're all homeless.
They drop him off at school, the dad says, good thing you gave up the silly dancing, and then, in less than 3 minutes, he's in the middle of a dance competition. It's in the middle of the fucking quad.
Now, the cops that were chasing after him, they weren't chasing after him because there was illegal street dancing. It was because he let the balloons go. Would 3 New York City cops chase a college kid across for a half a mile.
If you attack a
Probably
balloonist,
NYU cops.
He didn't attack a balloonist. He let the balloons go.
Well, there was a lot of balloons. There's a point where he has to make a choice between taking an engineering test or going to this dance competition. And at no point do they ever explain.
the dance contest and the test were at the same time, and he did both and did good at both, and that's the end. And he didn't have to make a choice. He passed with flying colors. I expected him to get expelled.
The big ultimatum at the end, where they're like, if you throw the big competition, we'll let you have your house back. But if they win the competition, they get the money to get their house back. If they try and they lose, they can just say, oh, we fucking threw it.
But
there was no stakes.
But that wouldn't work because he'd know if they tried or not.
That douchebag
based on the
wouldn't
quality
know.
of their dance.
No.
This movie takes place in a universe far removed from reality as we know it. If you were to go to the planet Pandora and then enter the video game from Tron, you would be in Step Up 3D.
They were the most normal team. Everyone they competed against was some form of a
They were
monster.
savages.
There were teams that were like mutants who would growl while dancing, and there was like
There was a very
Asian gangs.
Yeah,
They battle danced against the barbaric horde from the beginning of Gladiator.
I think that this entire movie is what was happening in the minds of those people in the big room of sleeping people in Inception. I think they were all in Step Up 3D.
This movie was more ambitious than Inception, I think.
It will require a greater ability to accept complex ideas to properly appreciate this film than Inception. The audience seemed into it in the way that...
This movie was regular to them.
Yeah.
Where we found this movie insane and absurd, the Long Beach audience accepted it as a normal movie.
Which is scary. It's really scary because this movie is illogical, absurd, and it's, as you said, it's a live-action cartoon. It's a cartoon world. Literally, physics, logic, and emotional continuity do not exist in this universe. And you're right, everyone that was sitting with us took it at face value, and they were really into it.
We laughed at everything in the movie, but they only laughed when there was an intentional joke.
And those were the things that we didn't laugh at.
Now, I'm already sick of 3D and how expensive it is. I want to see everything in a 2D regular flat screen. Having said that, seeing Step Up 3D in only 2 dimensions would be like seeing a foreign film without subtitles. You might be able to feel out the basic gist of what's going on, but you're not really going to get it.
The point of the 3D is not to bring attention to itself. All this movie did was bring attention to itself in the 3D. They had the point of view shots when they're dancing of the dancers looking into the camera as if they were performing for the camera that's filming the movie. And they would stick their hand out, and they would stick their face out, they would blow bubbles at you.
Is this hardcore underground dancing culture, like, is that a real thing? Like, does that exist, like, right now among us?
When I saw Step Up to the Streets, it was the first time I ever saw any movie like that. And I think I was sitting next to Carl at the time, and I said, and I smiled at him, and I said, you see this? This was on my face from the beginning to the end. And I would say that's the exact same thing with Step Up 3D. I was never not happy that I was there. Even with the disgusting chair and the squeaky chair. It's the best 3D movie of the year.
Step Up 3D steps it up. 3D.
This was the summer of Inception, but the most interesting movie you will see this year is Step Up 3D.
You know how people who, and I don't want to offend anybody, but you know how people who are, I have to choose my words carefully, but people who are retarded they're not experiencing anything bad because they don't know what it feels like to be retarded, because that's just their constant state of being.
Mentally challenged.
Alright, people who are mentally, alright, blah, 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 start all over. People who are mentally challenged don't know what it's like to be mentally, that they don't realize that they are mentally challenged.
Alright.
When I'm seeing this movie, I'm clearly seeing something that is retarded, but it makes me retarded while I'm watching it, and I'm loving it. And then, as soon as you leave the confines of the theater, I realize, oh my god, what I just saw is mentally challenged. But when I'm watching it, the movie makes me what it is.
We were appreciating it on a higher level than they intended, I think. Alright, let's go watch Jersey Shore.